Hey guys, it's Jello, and today we are going to be talking about ass and titty, fan service. If you look up the word on Google, its definition is: fan service is material in a work of fiction in a fictional series which is intentionally added to please the audience. The term originated in Japanese in the anime and manga fandom and has been in other languages and mediums. Boy, I can't tell if Japan is a good or a bad influence. It's a word popularized by anime and manga culture, and it's a way for the creators to treat us. I'm not really sure what the point of this video is, but basically I'm just going to be talking about fan service and if it's actually a good thing or not, because already I can imagine people saying, "But Jello, what possible disadvantages could there be to physic-defying boobage?" Or, "But Jello, what's wrong with gleaming oily abs?" Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. Nothing. Fan service in general, nothing really wrong with it in my opinion. The only problem there is with fan service is how and when it is executed. Listen, I get it. Fan service is good for the sales. Horny teens and creepy old men love that juicy stuff. And this stuff does sell. Sex sells. It's, I'm a PG channel, but I'm educating you kids. If any of you are watching, I hope not. You think Danmachi would have been as big of a success with Hestia and her big heart? Supported by a single string. Or if Free was a skiing anime instead, the rates of the shirts being pulled off would be reduced by 200%, which means 200% less sales. Totally factual stats. But yeah, I get it. Sometimes we need it. But, there's a time and place for anything really. There is nothing worse than a show that is trying to portray itself as a serious, and a thought-provoking series, and then trying to give us some fan service at the same time. It does not work. It never works. Just stop it. You'll piss more people off than please. Actually, if it pisses people off instead, is it still called fan service? Let's use a good example. Rosario Vampire, a slightly older anime with a finished manga and completed anime. I don't think there's going to be any sequels. Now, the premise of Rosario Vampire is about a normal high school student who somehow ends up in a monster academy full of supernatural entities. And then, obviously, as you do, he gets a harem of these supernatural entities. He gets a busty pink-haired vampire, a busty blue-haired succubus, a lolly mage, and best girl snow girl. But don't be fooled by the premise. In the actual manga, this is a proper battle manga. I mean, it starts off a bit slice of lifey, but it does evolve into a proper battle manga, full of blood and fighting and so much seriousness, world-ending disasters and whatnot. But the anime, oh boy, the anime. I watched it in my youth, and not gonna lie, I did like it. Alright, it was a much simpler time, okay? Don't judge me. I'm sure people still like it at this point, but not for me anymore. Because when I rewatched this show after reading the manga, I just saw how hollow and lifeless it was. It sucked the seriousness right out, and instead of, battle and fighting, we got beach episodes. Which I'm sure some people wouldn't complain. It's like a chocolate donut, but just take out the chocolate and just put in love juice. That's kind of gross. I mean, the manga had some fan service, but Rosario Vampire was the first anime that I had experienced that showed panty shots every freaking frame. Exaggeration, but it did show it an awful lot. If there was a panty count, it'd go well over 1,000. I figured the anime was just a promotional thing to show off the girls' designs and just to promote the manga. But still, I would have loved it to have been a proper adaptation. So this was an example of when fanservice can kill a show. Here's another good example. Another serious show that has been destroyed is a show called Muv-Luv. Okay, this anime was already destroyed because of its really bad adaptation of the visual novels, which did no justice to the original thing whatsoever. But this anime had the balls, the gall, to show us a totally serious, dark-toned, full of gore kind of story, but then give us fanservice for no reason. I think it goes without saying that the credibility of that show kind of just went downhill when I saw a girl with literal watermelon boobs defying gravity giving us a sad backstory. High School DxD and the more recent Kaijo are better examples of when fanservice is used. High School DxD and Kaijo offer some of the most shameless fanservice ever, but it's okay because that was its intention. You're watching it only for that, and the overarching whatever the story is just a cherry on top. I don't know about you, but if a show had the main character go through a severe power-up which impacted the story as a whole by pressing a nipple, then I'm pretty sure, and it's safe to say that you don't take it seriously. And the original source itself was just as raunchy, so it's a-okay. Just saying, alright? A bit of wisdom from old Jello here. If you see an ecchi tag on an anime, just make sure to put your expectations quite low. Maybe second lowest, depending on your stance on slice of life. So yeah, for these shows, High School DxD and Kaijo, there's no issues. Free? Who the hell cares? Besides over-sexualizing and, showing perfect representations of the male and female body. So much so that the guy and gal will run away from potential 3D partners. But apart from that, there's no issues. So if you don't like fan service, you can simply skip over those shows. But when it's a serious story, and its fan service is incorporated into it, you can't just ignore it. Another thing is that fan service believe it or not, isn't just showing a lot of boobage. It can be anything that pleases the audience. So something like showing a cameo of a really beloved character inside of a series. I'm pretty sure the West does this more than Japan, but yeah, that's all I have to say about fan service. I was gonna maybe show a bit of a skit, but I think it would have been a bit R-rated. Yeah, that'll be it, sorry. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you wanna, and see ya. This video gave me aching PTSD.